Hello and welcome to episode 135 of the Beach Travel Wine Podcast. Today we are back in Jerez de la Frontera, but we have something really special for you. We are taking you on a walking tour that we did on the VoiceMap app. It covers all the highlights and we're going to sprinkle in some of the places that we added in, some restaurants and some places that we did tours of. Has everything you need if you're visiting Jerez de la Frontera. And let me tell you, the VoiceMap app tour was a highlight for us, and we tell you more about that as well. So if you would like to know anything else about this tour that we did or anything about this podcast, then click the link on the player you're listening on now, and there you will find all the photos that go with this episode, the map that has everything that we visited on, and also the links to any of the tours that we did as well. And you can download the VoiceMap app, which is free from there as well. So please enjoy episode 135, all about the magical Spanish city of Jerez de la Frontera. Good morning, Lyle. How are you today?
Buen día, Leonita. Muy bien.
So today, as I said in the intro, we have got something a bit unique and a bit unusual and something that we really love doing. Hey?
Yep.
And I did say what it was. It's the VoiceMap app that we did, but I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that now because we're still in Jerez de la Frontera and there's so much to see in this gorgeous Spanish city. And we discovered this way of doing a tour. So the VoiceMap app is something that you download on your phone, right? And then they have tours all over the world, like in 70 countries, 1,500 different tours. But we found one that was in Jerez, and Jerez is not that touristy, so I couldn't find a walking tour that started in Jerez anyway. And when I did find one, it wasn't English speaking. So this was just something that we thought we'd try, and we loved it, didn't we?
Yep.
And what happens is you just get the app, which is free, and I'm going to have links to all this in the description on the podcast player listening on. So you have a free app, and then you can search for where you are, any tours that are available, and they basically range from Australian dollars, which is about 16 to maybe 20, 25 max. You have lifetime access then, and also it works on GPS, so you can download it on your phone. And so when you're out walking, you're not using any data. You don't have to worry about that. And you follow it and it tells you where to go. It has all the information on where you're going. And when you get to the next spot, it just starts to play.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. And if you want to stop, which we've done several times, because we just didn't stop at this one tour, we did others, you just think, oh, we'll just pause it and we'll go and have a coffee or we'll go and have a sherry, whatever, and you come back and off you go again. And there's photos on the app. It was brilliant, don't you reckon?
Yeah, look, it's really efficient. That's the thing that gets me. Very, very efficient.
So you just put earphones in and off you go. And also, you're not waiting to stick with others in a tour. You don't have to worry about tipping at the end. There's a whole lot of things that are really beneficial. And also, if you only have a few days and the only tour available is towards the end, this way you can, like we like to do the tours at the beginning so you know what you want to go back to and explore. So we did a fabulous tour, and just as a little hint, at the end, if you listen to the end, there might be a little giveaway there, so it might be worth sticking around to hear that. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow the tour that we did, which took us to, we'd already sort of seen some of the places, but we wanted to go and learn all about them. So the tour started at the famous market.
Yes, we did. And the person that was looking after us was Clive.
Yeah. Yes, he was the tour guy.
Yeah.
Clive Muir. He was brilliant. I actually reached out to him afterwards because I thoroughly loved his tour. And that's the thing, is these tours are by locals, often people who've been living in the area or have lived there forever, and they just have a passion for their city. They narrate it and they tell stories. It's very clever. So Clive is an English guy who's lived in this area for many, many years. So he did a brilliant job.
And one of the other things that I liked about it is as you go around, Clive actually recommends places to go and eat as well.
Yeah, sure.
So, it's...
we took all that on board.
Yeah. The Mercado Central de Bastos.
So that's where we started.
Yeah, that's the Mercado, the market, which opened in 1885, making it one of the oldest markets in the province. It underwent a major renovation between 2007 and 2010 and houses over 100 stalls. It was built on the site of the former San Franciscan convent. Now, which I didn't know until we actually did this tour, that the actual Spanish government back in the 1800s started to confiscate buildings and assets that the Catholic Church owned and also different councils owned.
Okay.
Now, this started with Godoy's decree in 1807 encompassing various confiscations aimed to seize church property to alleviate Spain's debt. Finally, Mendoza's Desamortización, 1855, was the final major confiscation act targeting church and municipal properties. The main factors why these confiscations occurred included the need for revenue, the desire to weaken the church's influence, and the promotion of liberal economic policies, whether intended or unintended. As a consequence, it only made the rich more wealthy. The policy concluded on December 16, 1924.
Right. So all that we learnt from the map, but we basically started at the local seafood, meat, and fresh vegetables markets. So where a lot of the locals go. So it's shaped that typical way, like the barn shape. And outside it, there's stalls as well. Now, it's not open every day. So
it's not open on Monday.
But outside the market is, when we were there were stalls selling these tiny little snails, and a lot of the restaurants around town were selling them as well. I'll put some photos of them in. Like, there's these huge big bags, like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 kilos of these snails. They're tiny little things, and they must be a delicacy, and they buy them by the glass, and people like pick them out and obviously get the snail bit out of them, but then they drink the juice. The juice out of the glass. It just about made my stomach turn. But what is famous there is that little kiosk, yes?
Yeah. Well, that's adjacent the market.
Yeah.
The churros is a favourite Spanish treat. Deep fried dough, often dusted with sugar and cinnamon, which is dipped into hot chocolate.
Yeah, so at this kiosk, they actually sell it by the weight. So you don't just go and buy 1 or 2. You're buying 50 grams, a kilo of churros. And it was flat out. And then there's a little cafe just across the road where you go and order your coffee.
Or chocolate.
Or your big jar of hot chocolate that you dip your churros in. It smells divine.
Yeah, it does smell good. Our next stop just across the road is a historical building commissioned by the Domecq family to commemorate the 1929 Ibero-American exhibition.
So we walked from the market to the next stop, which Lyle's talking about, and it's this round facade, isn't it? It's called the Gallo Azul,
El Gallo Azul,
which is the blue rooster. And on the top, it's one of those pictures that is synonymous with Jerez. It's got a big light up sign that says Fundador, which is one of the bodegas in town.
Yeah. Famous Fundador brandy. The building features a unique circular neo-Mudéjar design with striking blue tiles. The name El Gallo Azul, the blue rooster, originates from a painting by local artist Jose Luis Torres, which is displayed inside the building. The building currently operates as a tapas bar with a second-story restaurant.
Now, we went up the top. There was some parade going on, and it was a great vantage point from there when we went back to that building. So that's not very far from the market. Now, this tour that we're doing, it was 3 kilometres in total.
Yeah.
So Clive, the narrator, he says it takes about 75 minutes, and that's probably correct if you stop, because each spot you're stopping and you're listening to his information as you're going around. So yeah, that's not far. And then from there, we headed to the biggest plaza in town, which is so impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, Plaza de Arenal, and it has this massive statue and fountain in the middle.
Lots of trees and fountains, and the monumental statue surrounded by cafes, tabernas, and restaurants. And there's also the information centre there, the main information centre. The monument to Primo de Rivera consists of a bronze equestrian statue of Miguel Primo de Rivera on top of a sculptured ensemble placed inside the fountain. It was unveiled on the 20th of November 1929 during a ceremony attended by the dictator himself. He was born in Jerez in 1870. He rose to power in a coup in 1923 and ruled Spain until 1930. His time in power was marked by progress and repression.
And around this beautiful plaza, it's where they have any local events. I think a couple of nights when we wandered past, there were markets and local groups doing things. It's also got quite a few restaurants and bars that open into the plaza, as well as some really funky sort of shops along the bottom area there. Like I went in, and there was one that just had the most amazing clothes and shoes and jewelry. It was really amazing. But there's this cocktail bar with this massive whale hanging down inside. We call it the whale bar.
Yeah, but it's the actual name of the bar is the Cubaname. Cubaname.
Okay.
That is known for its large collection of rums, signature Caribbean cocktails, and decor that evokes the spirit of 1930s Havana. But as Leanne said, the main thing we saw was the whale.
Yeah.
Hanging from the ceiling. But it was pretty cool. But the actual plaza, it's huge.
Well, it used to hold all sorts of tournaments and bullfights and duels and even horse racing. They used to have. That's how big it
right.
was. So
It's
big enough to hold a horse race. And we found one of our favourite little spots to have a quick something to eat earlier in the night, because a lot of places don't open, but there's this one place up the top, Antigua Cruz.
Yeah, Antigua Cruz, Blanca. Now, the one thing is you can get food there, but it's not cooked. All right, so it's still 8 o'clock before you get cooked food. And one of the things we actually did a couple of times before we went to the flamenco shows, we'd call in there to have a quick bite before we got stuck into the sherry and the vermouth. And highly recommend the pulled pork taco.
Yeah, they were great.
And the smoked salmon wrap. They were magnificent.
We did go back there quite often.
Yeah.
And all these places that we're talking about in the tour are going to be on the map that's going to be in the blog post that goes along with this, as well as all the photos of these places that we've seen. So in the podcast player you're listening on, in the description, click on the link to this episode and you'll see all that information there. So where did we go on our VoiceMap app tour next?
The Plaza de Asunción and the Cabildo Antiguo is a historical plaza known for its beautiful architecture. It features a blend of Renaissance, Mudéjar, and neoclassic styles, particularly evident in the Iglesia de San Dionisio and the Cabildo Antigua,
which is the old town hall.
Correct.
Yeah.
It also has a monument a la Virgen de la Asunción, a towering monument to the Virgin Mary. The monument was inaugurated in 1952. A stone column topped with a statue of the Virgin Mary, flanked by angels and surrounded by a metal frame resembling stars. The base of the column is adorned with figures of the apostles. The Cabildo Antigua's facade is adorned with Corinthian columns, decorated friezes, and statues symbolizing the virtues of Hercules and Julius Caesar. Highly, highly, highly recommend visiting at night when it is the most beautiful and illuminated.
And we had walked past this area and thought, oh, this is really beautiful. And it wasn't until we did the VoiceMap app tour that we learned all about what this
actually what it was. Yeah.
And it is stunning, that old council building and then the church and the monument in the middle. And there's a couple of times we're going to talk about the place we're going to talk about next, one of the plazas. We sat there quite often. And there were a couple of weddings, remember? And the way the people dressed to go to weddings in Spain is out of this world. They are just stunning. And so you could watch them going in and out of the church to that wedding. It's a beautiful spot there.
Yeah, as far as architecture and that sort of thing, wins hands down as far as it's just beautiful.
It is.
Now, as Leanne's talking about it, we did watch the people going to the weddings. We were there, it was about 40 degrees, and we were there for a fortnight, but it was about 3 days in a row. It was on a weekend, and as Leanne said, they dressed immaculately. The guys, 3-piece suits, morning suits, their shoes were spotless. But anyway, it was only a short walk to our favourite plaza, Plaza Plateros, which has a spectacular view of the Torre Atelara, especially at night, with the cobalt blue Spanish sky backdrop.
So this is at the back of the cathedral.
This is a 15th century Mudéjar tower that served as a watchtower and now serves as a bell tower for the Church of San Dionisio. Plaza Plateros has a well-deserved reputation as one of the most famous areas with many tabancos, bars, and restaurants. On our first night, we decided to check out Tabanco Plateros, which TripAdvisor had highly recommended. There was no free tables available outside, so we ventured our courage inside this relatively modern tabanco. Liam was only interested in the chicharrones, fried pork belly,
yeah.
while I spotted the mousse de patio, which was duck liver pata, and the glass of wine was $2.50, so €2.5, which was the right price.
And this banco is like Plaza Plateros it's an odd shape, and then there's like a little bit of a road almost, and then this is at the top. It's sort of a funny shape. So.
It's almost a little bit triangular, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another favourite was Casa Gabriela, mainly because it was the only place that had the water spray installed within their umbrella, and the food was excellent too.
We actually went to most of the places and at least had a drink, and it was also our favourite breakfast spot in this plaza.
Yeah. And the actual breakfast spot was La Guina, Guina.
And once again, all these places are on the map on the website. So click on the link in the description, and you can go and have a look at those.
Yeah. At the time of this podcast, Cafe con Leche was €1.70. The tostada de tomate,
the best breakfast in the world.
Searches for this. That was €1.90, and a glass of fresh orange juice was €2.60.
The juice is always a little bit more expensive than even the coffee, but it is literally fresh orange juice.
Natural.
There's nothing added to it. You can see them make it in their machines.
As you head back towards Plaza Arenal, along Calle Consistorio, you'll pass the Sushi Panda Japanese restaurant, excellent duck spring rolls and prawn pad thai.
So we're just adding a few of our little favourite spots in here. We thought now we're talking about food, let's talk about some of the other places that we went to eat. So Sushi Panda was very good and economical too.
Yeah. Side street just off Consistorio is Calle Remedios, where we discovered the barbecue restaurant Maison de Asador, yeah.
And they had these amazing, I thought they were called kebabs.
But they were the skewer.
Yes.
And it had
pork and capsicum.
Pork fillet. It was just beautiful.
I actually have a photo of that, so you can check that one.
But that food was spectacular. Now, I also had the bacalao, which is the cod in tomato. I certainly didn't need to have that. The pork skewer would certainly have fed both of us easily.
All right.
But the food was excellent.
So while we're talking food, do you want to add some of the other ones while we're here?
Yes. You need to give Lu Casina y Alma, a Michelin star restaurant which combines Andalusian and French culinary traditions. A must try. Another is Las
Banderillas.
Yeah. The grilled janduri and the grilled chicken breast were superb.
And once again, these places are on the map that we went to.
Another favourite was Tabanco Can Blanco, where we were welcomed by Blanca and Paula and greeted by a bar-length painting of the bar and locals by Aussie mate Steve Bordenaro. Blanca recommended the hamon and the smoked salmon, which were both sensational. Quite seriously, everywhere we ate, the food was spectacular and exceptionally affordable, including the wine. Okay, so the next place we went to was the Plaza de Belén and Lola Flores Cultural Centre.
So this Plaza de Belén is quite modern, quite new. So lots of places to sit and water features, and as Lyle was about to say, right near the Lola de Flores Cultural Centre there.
Yeah, the museum is decorated to the life and career of Lola Flores, a famous Spanish flamenco dancer, singer and actress. It showcases her personal belongings, including costumes, jewelry, and documents alongside audio-visual material. Not far from there is the Hammam Andalusi, and which is the Banos Arabes Jerez. The Arab baths or hammams descended from the Roman thermal baths but evolved with a distinct Islamic architectural and cultural influence. And in addition to hygiene, the baths served as important social centres for residents to meet, discuss society and business, and relax, with separate days for men and women.
We were recommended to go, and we're like, let's do this. And it was one of those experiences that will be up the top of our enjoyment things that we did in Jerez or in Spain, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually quite funny.
So go on.
Go on. No, you describe the baths.
Well, we had to book, and I booked for the earliest slot on a Tuesday morning, thinking that would be quiet. And sure enough, it was. We were the only ones there, and I booked the special deal with the massage. But if you want to, you can just go into the bath. So they've got these beautiful bathrooms. It's the first thing where you get into your swimwear, have a shower, like wash any body oils off and stuff. And then you walk into this dimly lit, beautiful room. It's got the arch ceilings and the little holes where the
geometric
light comes through. They look like stars and things. And just the painting and the interior design of this is just gorgeous, and it's glowing from the bottom. The pools, aren't they? So they've got this beautiful blue light coming out. I've got some magic pictures of this. And so we were told what you do first is you hop into, there's 3 pools, and one's the warm pool, and that's
the tepid pool,
and that's the one you get into first, I guess, to get your body temperature to normal. And then you get into the hot bath, and then you stay in there for a small amount of time until it gets a bit too hot, and then there's like a little plunge pool which is cold, and you get into that.
It is freezing.
And the first time you do it, you just think, oh my gosh. And for me, my fingers and toes were tingly. It was a nice tingly. So you alternate between the hot and the cold, hot and the cold. And the longer you're there, the more you can stay in the hot, and then the more you can stay in the cold.
Sure.
They say you should only stay up to about a minute, right?
In the cold.
In the cold. And we had that for an hour, and we're relaxing, lying back. And they bring us this beautiful hibiscus leaf tea in the old ancient teapot. It was really, atmospheric. It was magical. And beautiful soft music playing. I could have done that every day. And then they asked us to come and have our massage. And so we had this massage, which was just divine. And then we had another half hour back in the bath again. I would highly recommend doing that for sure.
Yeah, but what Leanne forgot to mention was that she never mentioned to me about her toes tingling or her fingers tingling when she got in the cold water. She's looking at me as she's getting in the cold water as said, look, this is so nice, this is lovely. So I went in and it was freezing. Anyway, so what we actually started doing then, well, because Leanne said, well, I was in there for 80, so she was counting, so I'd stay in for 100. And then Leanne would go 120. So we had a little bit of a competition. But seriously, highly recommend it. It was great. It was really good fun.
It was. And you can, if there's no one in there, you could ask to go on your way past on the VoiceMap app tour. You could ask to go in and have a look, because we did that before we actually went in, because I wanted to have a look around there, because it's beautiful. But then the Hammam Bath is only 100 metres or so from the huge cathedral that dominates the landscape in Jerez. And like, Spain is full of churches, I get that. This one is pretty spectacular, isn't it?
Yeah, known as the Cathedral of San Salvador, is a blend of Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque style, reflecting its construction over a long period from the 17th to the 18th century. The interior includes a nave and 4 aisles of varying heights, supported by flying buttresses. An octagonal dome rising 40 meters. It houses notable artworks, including the Virgin Girl, a 15th century Cristo de la Viga crucifix, and sculptures of the Apostles by Jose de Arge.
So I obviously on your tour, the tour doesn't take you inside these places. But I would highly recommend, once you've done the walking tour, that you get tickets and get the audio tour inside, because that was one of the best ones we've done as well. But a couple of other things. You can walk all the way around the outside of the cathedral, and it's really worth it. They've got lots of gargoyles and things. There's this lovely little narrow street that goes up the side of it. And once you're inside and you're doing the tour, no one actually told me about this. I just sort of walked out the back behind the altar, and there's this little room with these box seats that sort of swivel, and people are sitting on them, and they've got the headsets on. and they're sitting out on a stand on next to little swivel chairs, and I'm like, oh wow, I need to have a look at that. What are they doing? Anyway, so it's a virtual headset, and you pop it on. Oh, it's incredible. It's the first time I've done a virtual headset. Basically, as you turn around on the chair, which is free moving that you're sitting on, you are doing a 360 of the inside of the cathedral. But you're up high, so you are getting, and you can move, lean forward and go close into the monuments and the artwork all around the altar and up to the ceiling and the stained glass. It is one of the best things I've ever done inside a cathedral. And we should have gone back so you could have done it as well.
I really do regret not actually doing it.
It was absolutely amazing. So highly recommend that as well at the Jerez Cathedral. So good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's only a 5-minute walk from the cathedral to the Alcázar Jerez.
And this is quite well known as well. And outside the Alcázar is this lovely promenade with lots of trees and seats under there. There's the standard horse and cart people, waiting to take people. There's only 2, and I don't ever think they went anywhere. There's like a rotunda there as well. So it's a beautiful big area outside the Alcázar itself.
And fabulous views of the city.
Yeah, really beautiful. And we just thought, let's go in and have a look when we first saw it. But you tell us about the Alcázar.
So after we paid the entrance fee, Alejandro, an intern in the Alcázar, offered us a free private tour of the Alcázar.
That was a bit of a bonus.
Yeah. We just sort of walked in, paid it, and this young fella came over and said, would you like a free tour?
Because he's an intern and he's practicing his English. So we got the double whammy there.
It is a well-preserved fortress palace showcasing a mixture of Almohad and Baroque architectural styles. Built in the 12th century, it served as a seat of power, a defensive structure, and a residence. Key features including the octagonal tower, the mosque, now a chapel, the Arab bath, and the gardens.
Now, the Arab baths are in their original form, aren't they? And they show those ceilings I was talking about. So the light comes down in through those stars and the geometric shapes. It's pretty special.
Baroque-style palace built in 1664 within the complex inside the principal pharmacy is perfectly designed. So the palace is called the Palace of Villavicencio.
Right, so you've got the Alcázar, which is the walls and the baths and the gardens, and then they've built this palace inside that. And there's a lovely courtyard with beautiful palm trees just outside that, and you can actually go into the palace.
Yep.
And what you're talking about is the pharmacy, and they've set up as it was originally. Like the pharmacy that they used to make all the medicines and that sort of stuff. Yeah, and lots of vantage points out that palace, the rooms and the windows, because you're up at the highest point looking out. Yeah, it's pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a really nice Alcázar for sure.
Yeah.
Then we finished off at the González Bias Company, which is
basically we've done the Alcázar tour, looked through the palace, and we're crossing the road to
basically the Tío Pepe wine bodega. Founded in 1835 in Jerez, is a renowned winery known for its sherry production, particularly the iconic Tío Pepe Fino. Initially focused on sherry exports, the company expanded its portfolio to include other Spanish wine regions and spirits, becoming a global wine and spirit producer. The business remains family-owned and run now in its 5th generation.
Tío Pepe means Uncle Pepe.
Yeah.
And he's the symbol of the bodega.
Yeah.
They've got a big Tío Pepe sign in Madrid. Yes.
Yep.
And there's a big Tío Pepe on one of the buildings here in this bodega.
And Sevilla, like basically all the major cities
have a Tío Pepe.
Sign.
So obviously our VoiceMap app tour told us all about the history and the stats and everything about this bodega. But we then went and did an organised tour.
Yep.
And I put links to the tours that we did as well in the blog post and the pictures. This is where the prettiest street, if you Google the prettiest street in Jerez, it comes up with Calle Ciegos, which is a vine-lined, beautiful cobblestone street right there in the middle of the complex, isn't it? It's very professional, though, to do the tour. You walk in through the gate and the gardens are the first things that, you know, you see, which are just immaculate. And you go into a little waiting room with lots of pictures on the walls and things. And then you all hop on a little train and do a tour, a little red train, through the complex, down past the residence gardens and that sort of thing. Get the information past all the production areas, and the whole time you're smelling this sherry, right? It's quite what's distinctive smell. And then you end up back at this big building that has all these red hats hanging down, which is obviously the Tío Pepe's hat, yeah, and all these barrels around the walls, and every country that they export to is there with their flags on the front of them. So
I think they actually export to 114 countries. Its largest markets for Tío Pepe are the UK, Netherlands, Germany, and the USA. So yeah, it's very impressive.
Yeah, it was a beautiful tour. And then we wander into the tasting rooms, and you can pay just to have the sherry tastings, or they have food with it, and that was really, really cool as well. Like, just they didn't explain a lot about the sherry we were tasting, but we learnt about the different, because we'd walk through as well. We did the train tour, and then we walked through all the different places with different barrels and production areas that we saw as well. And some of them were set up for functions and that sort of thing. There's one place that has all the barrels with the famous people that have written their names.
The celebrity barrel room. From F1, from F1
Steven
drivers.
Spielberg.
Yeah, to actors, to film producers.
And there's a little story about a mouse. There's a photo of a mouse, a little mouse, up a ladder, putting his little head into the glass of sherry. And what they were saying was they were trying to stop the mice from
gnawing into the
barrels.
Into the barrels, yeah. And it's actually a true story.
Yeah, and so they actually put sherry out for them to drink, and
a glass and a tiny little ladder.
They just put in a little saucer, I don't know. But
no. Well, there's actually a photo where there's a little ladder.
I know, that's what I mean. But they could have just put it in a little saucer on the ground, but then that wouldn't have been a good photo of the mouse up a ladder, would it?
No. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story, Leah.
One of my favourite stories is, and when we were walking around, we looked down into this sort of storage area, or a cellar, and it was wide enough that it was a walkway down the middle, and on each side there was just one row, but barrels up one after the other, right?
Yep.
And you could see sort of a door at the other end. And the story with this room is this was actually Uncle Pepe, Tío Pepe's room, and every Sunday, of course, all the good Spanish Catholics go to the cathedral, and the cathedral is just across from this Tío Pepe area, this bodega. So they would go to church, and then Pepe, with half a dozen of his mates or so, would then, straight after church, would come back over to the bodega and go in through this little secret door, and they'd all sneak inside then and drink sherry all afternoon.
Yeah.
And you literally can see out the door, and there's the cathedral. Yeah. And as you exit the complex, you're back there right at the cathedral. So it's all that close, yeah?
Yeah, well, actually, the place itself, like Jerez, is very, very walkable. It's a very walkable city.
And so this is where the tour finished, was at the Tío Pepe place. So, but we went in at a separate time. Yeah, what a great way to get to know the city, though, with this app, this tour that we did on the VoiceMap app. And yeah, the narration was great, and that tells you how much further it is to your next spot. And if you're heading off the wrong way, it'll give you notices to come back to where you are. And as soon as you get there, it starts playing. I just think it's a great way, and we love doing this so much that we then went and did 2 others while we're in Spain, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. And you're not going to say what the other 2 is, are you? Because that would spoil what's coming. But seriously, yeah, I thought that they actually, the whole idea of it is they've thought of everything.
Yeah, they have.
With the VoiceMap app. It was perfect.
But they also, like I said, there's about 1,500 tours at the moment. They're adding them all the time, 70 countries, 500 destinations. But they also do these VoiceMap app tours inside museums and galleries. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And one that they've just, because I obviously have subscribed now, Sir Ian McKellen does a tour.
The famous actor.
Yeah, of the London theatre area.
Really?
Yeah. How good would that be?
Wow.
So you basically can as I said, download the app for free. I'm going to put a link to that in the podcast description. You just on your phone, download it for free, and then you can just search, and you don't have to pay any money until you actually want to buy a tour. So do it for free, and then you can see where you're going, what tours you'd like to do. Now, before I tell you, we've got like a little giveaway. Lyle, your favourite place to have a glass of sherry in Jerez de la Frontera?
Oh, I'd have to. Is El Paseo?
Okay, El Pasaje.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one of the bars we mentioned.
Yeah. I just thought that was like it was just so traditional.
If you haven't listened to the previous podcast, go and do that, because we talked a lot about the flamenco and the horses and the sherry culture in Jerez, didn't we?
Yeah.
My favourite place would probably be in the Plaza de Arenal, where we're having our pork tacos, because I think we started there most nights.
Yeah. Well, don't forget.
Banco de Plateros. Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah, that was good.
All these places we've mentioned, I'll sum up before I tell you the giveaway. The link to the show notes is in the description, and there I have photos of all these places that we visited. I also have a map with all the places marked on there, and you can actually, if you're on your phone, you can actually download that map to your phone if you're going to Jerez. And there's also a link that you can download the VoiceMap app as well. So everything you need is there. Now, if you're listening to this podcast before the 14th of October 2025, then this competition's open for you. If it's after that and you're listening, thanks so much for listening. It's still worth downloading the app and buying the tours. Now, if you email me, there's three winners. So email me at Leanne, Leanne, at beachtravelwine.com, and tell me why you would like to do a VoiceMap app tour, and we will pick the best three. And the prize is you actually win 3 tours. So you can download 3 tours, any choice you like, anywhere in those destinations. So it's a pretty good price, yeah?
Sure.
Yeah, so Leanne at beachtravelwine.com. Send me an email if you'd like to win one of those free 3 tours.
That's a bit of a tongue twister.
It is a bit of a tongue twister. Oh, I hope you've enjoyed our second podcast all about Jerez de la Frontera. And we've still got more on this area in our next podcast, and hopefully it won't be quite so long when we get around to doing the next one. So
sure.
Thank you. So it's adios from me.
Adios, amigos.